Okay guys, let's just recap the lesson. So first thing, make sure you go to Moodle. You want to find the AFX cameras project. The tasks are laid out here, so we'll be downloading this. We're going to be copying and making 5 compositions, cameras, and we'll be creating a zoom effect. So if I go to the project when it's open, remember what you'll see will be, I'll start with the completed one. Let's just open this up. So whilst it's opening, remember inside here I've included a PSD which will form the compositions that we discussed, and then we'll be able to edit all the individual layers when they're imported. So give me my workspace, start. Okay, so as we saw before, right, so here I had my camera, there was the effect, we've got our 5 compositions here. As the camera moves, it's going to pass through and it creates that zoom effect. Okay, so let's go back and then open our starting point. So if I go open up the start, you'll see that I've given you a series of folders here already. It's always good to make sure that your work is organized. The PSDs I've already imported inside this, and there is also a pre-comp of the counter already made. So if you want to import content, remember you can go File, you can go Import, and you could select the file that we made, open or close the options box to get these additional options, and we're going to set this to composition retain layer sizes. Now the Photoshop file that I had before, I'd preset to the workspace inside After Effects. Always make sure that the workspaces match up, and then I click on create composition and then open. For you guys, we had the composition inside the pre-comps. There's 2 ways of duplicating information inside here, but essentially a composition contains and will hold all those layers that we've worked on. So if I wanted this just to show one, I double click on the composition. On the left hand side where the eyes are, I can click and drag to turn off the 2 to 5 numbers, and then come back into master and it's updated. Now if I was to make an instance of this, so if I was to duplicate this, so don't get confused between copy and duplicate, but if I duplicate this and then change something inside one, so let's say layer, new, solid, and we just go with the background. Move that down. Okay, so we've made the background. With the background made, I can close that, go back into my master. If I was to scale down just one of these, you'll see that it'll update automatically on the other one. So if we went into countdown 1 for instance, and we set this to 2, and went back into my master, it will turn everything else to 2. This is very handy, and it will be used quite a bit inside After Effects, but we want to make sure that we can independently change these, so we've got the numbers going from 1 to 5. So I'm going to clear this. Remember we did our favorite primary school shortcut, which was the Command C, Command V, which is copy and paste. We're going to get this down to 5. So I'm going to take these compositions here, these pre-comps, into the pre-comps folder. And on my master, I'm going to click on the folder, drag it in, and now we've got 5 different compositions. So if I click on the first one, okay, so we now need to change these numbers. So if I go to countdown 2, click inside here, 2 is enabled, close it, back to master, let's check 1, turn 1 on, close it, countdown 3, click on 3, close it, countdown 4, click on 4, close that, and countdown 5, we make sure 5 is enabled, and we go back in. Okay, so you can decide if you went through this. So if we just check these, so we've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so with that in place, we then needed to make sure that we could animate these. So we go to Layer, New, Camera. Alternatively, you can right click down here, and go New and Camera. Okay, so I'm just going to call this Camera 1 and go OK. Now this error is coming up here because remember we have to enable these layers ready with a Z-axis in order to animate the camera and go through the 3D space. So we click on OK. Remember we're only ever changing 5 numbers and doing 2 keyframes. So where there's little 3D boxes here, this says 3D layer allows this layer to be manipulated in 3 dimensions because currently we're only going across the Y and the X. We want to change the depth for when the camera zooms, so we need to enable just these boxes. So I click and drag, highlight these boxes, our camera should now be ready. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to go from 1 view to 2 views horizontal, and you'll now see this. This should say camera 1, so camera 1. This one we're going to change to top, so we set that to top. With that in place, if I take my camera now, hold down spacebar just to drag with the hand tool, I click on camera, there's the handles, so click that, and if I move through, I'm going to see black space. And we're going to see black space because at the moment our layers are stacked up like a deck of cards. So if I click on countdown 2, you'll see the same axes will appear here. We're only ever changing the Z axis. If I push this back a bit, okay, and take the next one and repeat, just pushing these back. You guys can make sure that you set these to how you want to be when the camera goes through. I'm just pushing these back, and 5. Okay, making sure I'm finding Z. You can also go into the camera and under the position settings, if you scroll the end one, because that's a nice way of saying X, Y, and Z, you can move the camera the same way. Okay, so again, find Z, check my camera's going to fly through. So we're going to check that. Enable my stopwatch. Pull this forward about 5 seconds. Go Z. Drag the camera and pull it through. Okay, and you'll get that very nice zoom effect. Remember, we're only putting the camera from the bottom of the base. We're not moving it from the top because this is a point of interest. So if I point this to, it will then point onto the area of interest, so be careful with that because you can mess with the dimensions a bit. So take my workhead area and drag that down so we can just focus on that. At the beginning, camera 1 box highlighted here, play this through, and again you then might want to ease it after. Okay, so please complete.